Chapter 94. New Customers. Xiao Chen, where have you been? Why are you so late for work? Uncle Shu pulled Chen Ge to stand behind him, afraid that the mob might harm the young man. I just came back from the district station. I was helping the police with a murder case. Huh? Not only Uncle Shu, even the mob who surrounded Chen Ge was shocked. Normally, the reason given for truancy was either a traffic jam or stomach ache. Being involved in a murder case was truly an excuse they had not heard about before. Murder case? Uncle Shu looked at Chen Ge with shock and had forgotten the urgent matter at hand. Yup, but the case is different from the earlier murder at the apartment. It probably won't be broadcasted on the mass media. There was an earlier murder? The raging mob's aggression suddenly dwindled. All right, leave this to me. Chen Ge stood facing the crowd and said, "You guys are looking for me?" With just one question, Chen Ge managed to extinguish the little momentum the mob had left. The crowd that blocked the entrance to the haunted house looked at each other before shoving out a middle-aged man, who was shortest among them, to face Chen Ge. "We are from Qinguang's studio. Last night you employed unethical tactics by hiring a 50-cent army to spread rumors that are damaging to Qinguang's reputation." "I'm the one who employed unethical tactics? You people sure know how to create story. Who the real unethical plagiarist here is, you know yourselves." Chen Ge cut the man off instantly. "If there's nothing else, please leave the premises. You are interrupting my business. Qinguang merely chose to have the live stream at the same location as you. That is not a basis for you to claim that he plagiarized your work simply because you happened to shoot at the location first." The middle-aged man stood his ground and tried to argue with Chen Ge. "A simple comparison between our live streams show that Qinguang mimicked even my starting analysis while trapped inside the bedroom. If that is not plagiarism, what is? At most, he only copied your beginning. The plot that developed after that was his own creativity. Of course, it cannot be called plagiarism. At the very worst, you can call it a homage." Chen Ge had never seen such a shameless person before. He knew reasoning with them would be a waste of time, so he walked past them to open the gate and prepare for business. "You are new to the scene, so we understand your drive to succeed, but you have to know that this job is not that easy." The middle-aged man pulled out a document from his bag. Chen Ge had initially thought it was some kind of lawyer's letter, but he had overestimated his opponent's conviction. "You are not from this field, so you don't understand certain things. That's fine. But most established hosts are made with gold and popularity. It might appear that you have caught some popularity for now, but the platform will never support a newcomer and abandon Qinguang because Qinguang is the platform's key promoter. His success is tied to the success of the platform itself." The middle-aged man waved the document in his hand. "If you agree to stop the malicious attacks against Qinguang and post a public apology on your personal account, we will compensate you accordingly. However, if you insist on walking down the wrong place and harassing Qinguang and any of his affiliates to brush up the popularity of your own live stream, we will contact the platform to block you from all of its channels. Don't try to shift the blame onto the viewers. They are completely innocent. If anything, the viewers simply cannot stomach the open bullying and came to support me." Chen Ge did not give a damn about the threat. After all, the platform had never helped him once before. Even he himself did not know how he had managed to achieve his current popularity. Being rash benefits no one? Why don't you think about it first? The middle-aged man's attitude softened. The unreasonableness that was evident before Chen Ge arrived had completely disappeared. Around 6 of them had come to create trouble for Chen Ge, but the first sentence out of the man's lips when he arrived had thrown a wrench into their plan. Then again, they could not totally be blamed. Any normal person would be cautioned when they realized that the person they were dealing with had been involved in not 1, but 2 murder cases. "There's nothing to consider. I've already discovered the unique selling point of my live stream and videos. Even if I'm forced to leave this platform, I'll just regain my follower base elsewhere." Chen Ge chased the people from Qinguang's studio aside and informed Xu Wan to start preparing for work. He had raced about the whole night, so he was tired. He sat in the ticket booth selling tickets. After the first few waves of visitors exited the haunted house, the people from Qinguang's studio returned. You people sure are insistent. If you're not here to visit the haunted house, please move aside. You're blocking the path for the real visitors. Even a saint would lose their temper when pushed too hard. Chen Ge had been polite enough, but these people kept testing his patience. Who said we're not here to visit the haunted house? We also wish to experience the place that is dubbed the scariest haunted house in Zhujiang. Two young men from the studio with backpacks blocked the gate. You also want to visit the haunted house? Naturally, Chen Ge suspected that these people were up to no good. If you're afraid that we might expose your fake advertising, then fine, we won't enter. Of the two young men, one was extremely well-built. He wore a tank top to purposely reveal his body that was the result of constant weight training. Honestly, Chen Ge was a bit taunted by this guy. Let me remind you, the last person who made a claim like yours came out lying on his back. You've only managed to arouse my interest even more. Standing beside the muscular man was a meek-looking, bespectacled man. I've watched scary movies since I was young. Before being recruited by Brother Chin, I was part of a scary movie film crew. Alas, most of the movie settings were too fake. They were barely challenging. I do love customers like yourself who are constantly searching for a greater scare. Chen Ge pulled the curtain back. Come in then. Remember to sign the disclaimer agreement. Since there were willing lab rats, Chen Ge naturally would not send them away. Even the smile on his face had turned several degrees sincerer. When Uncle Shu saw the smile on Chen Ge's face, he shivered involuntarily, and the image of the forensic science students from Zhejiang Medical University lying weakly on the floor appeared in his mind. Uncle Shu coughed and pulled him to the side. Xiao Chen, don't go overboard. Remember, they are still park visitors? Before Chen Ge could reply, the bespectacled young man thought that he had seen through their plot and scoffed with derision. Well, that's some pretty good acting. The experience has started even before we enter the haunted house? Before I arrived, I saw the reviews on the haunted house, and many people said that the owner knows a bit of psychology. It looks like they weren't lying. Uncle Shu looked at the young man with a speechless expression on his face. I'm trying to help you here. If not for the fact you might die inside there, I would not have cared about you. Uncle Shu, I know the limits. Don't worry. Chen Ge led the two young men into the haunted house personally and saw them sign the disclaimer agreement. The larger muscular man was called Zhu Jianing, and the bespectacled man was Fei Yuliang. Chapter 95. All School Uniforms. When you're inside, no photos or filming. There are 4 different scenarios for you to experience. They are the sealed classroom, the 5th cubicle in the toilet, the pen spirit, and the deep well. The clues to the exit are hidden within these 4 scenarios. You'll need to experience all of them before you can find the exit. Chen Ge looked through their disclaimer agreement repeatedly. He was so careful because the agreements might serve their purpose soon enough. This is not our first haunted house. We know all that. Fei Yuliang pushed on his spectacles and peered inside the haunted house. At least the suspenseful environment is not bad. In that case, I will not waste my breath anymore. Chen Ge had intended to make some small introduction to each of the small scenarios, but he decided that would not be necessary. Follow me. Chen Ge led the two young men to the entrance to Night of the Living Dead on the 1st floor. The two saw the dilapidated setting and less than desirable mannequins that populated the scenario. The style is from 10 years back. Honestly, with set pieces like these, I feel like I can sue you for overcharging me for the entrance ticket. Zhu Jianing and Fei Yuliang wandered into the Night of the Living Dead scenario and touched the dust that had gathered on the mannequins. Just how long has this place been deserted? Looks like the business is dying. I should have known that you would have hired the same 50-cent army to fill the comments with good reviews. Are you two done? Chen Ge raised the wooden boards from the floor. The entrance is here. It's underground? The two young men did not feel weirded out. They walked out of the Night of the Living Dead scenario with their backpacks and stopped before the staircase that led down the stairs. The dark corridor led into an abyss. The doors to the classrooms on both sides creaked creepily. And even before they got down the stairs, a chilling wind surged from within to caress their skin. Now, this is better. As the two young men entered the Mu Yang High School scenario, Chen Ge yelled from the entrance, "If you're really afraid, yell for help at the cameras. The workers will come help you." After closing the boards, Chen Ge suddenly realized that there was no surveillance installed in the Mu Yang High School scenario, and there was not really an exit. He had just been saying that earlier out of habit. Looks like I better go in to join them. Hopefully their minds are still intact when I reach them. He had Zhu Wan stay at the door to maintain the order. He put on the Dr. Skullcracker outfit and entered the main control room to switch the background music to Black Friday before entering the Mu Yang High School scenario with the box of name tags given to him by Fan Yu. After Zhu Jianing and Fei Yuliang descended the staircase, they stayed near the entrance. Both of them waited until Chen Ge closed the wooden boards before they made a signal and retrieved Bluetooth cameras from their backpacks and pinned them on their chests. Each of us will record our side. We'll film everything inside his haunted house, and after we solve it, we'll post the guide online. Will that achieve anything? For local haunted houses like this one, the design and traps of the scenarios are considered business secrets because they depend on them to attract visitors. If the guide is already posted online, then it would have lost all its allure. This is why haunted houses ban the usage of cameras and video recorders. They have to keep the mystery and anticipation up for future visitors. Fei Yuliang fixed his camera and walked in front. After shooting the video, we'll edit it to make it as boring as possible, and then after posting it online, we'll hire some 50-cent army to swamp his comments with bad reviews. Okay. After he looked around, Zhu Jianing added, "But I have to say, the man has put a lot of effort into his setting. It does feel like we're at an abandoned high school. At the end of the day, it is still fake. In comparison to the 3D scary movies I've seen, this is nothing." Fei Yuliang was not afraid. If anything, he was bored. Let's get this over with. The two walked down the dim corridor. On each side of them were empty classrooms. The doors creaked on their hinges, and weird noises occasionally drifted out from the classrooms. Do you think the exit will be inside these two classrooms beside the entrance? After all, the comments did say that the boss is a master manipulator. That's your first mistake. If you focus too hard on searching for the exit, you will have fallen for the man's scheme. When Fei Yuliang was talking, he did not forget to maintain the balance of his upper body. Both he and Zhu Jianing were expert cameramen. You're right. Thankfully, you came with me. In reality, haunted houses are very boring. It's just people scaring people. And if you take it too seriously, you lose. The end of the dark corridor was still nowhere to be seen. Even though they said that they were not afraid, their progress was glacially slow. The signs of a fire could be seen everywhere, and the unique scent of burning was mixed in the stall air. As living humans entered the scenario, the atmosphere inside Mu Yang High School slowly changed. In an unseen corner, many pairs of eyes slowly opened. Fei Yuliang, who walked forward, was a scary movie aficionado. As authentic as the setting was, it was not scary enough to make him feel afraid yet. In comparison, the muscular man, Zhu Jianing, started to wilt under pressure. He hid himself behind Fei Yuliang, and his eyes kept wandering about to the dark corners. The background music was not that scary, but it made his heart rate race and his breathing uneven. Fei Yuliang suddenly stopped, causing Zhu Jianing to walk into the man's back. "What's wrong?" Zhu Jianing said in a volume that he did not realize had become a whisper. "This classroom, it's different from the rest." Fei Yuliang stood at the door of the sealed classroom. Looking at the dark-colored uniforms that filled the chairs, he had a weird feeling that the classroom was filled with students. "There are all these uniforms." Zhu Jianing was even more scared than Fei Yuliang. Just a glance through the window was enough to make him shiver. "Should we go to someplace else first?" "Don't be scared. A worker at the haunted house should be hiding inside this room, and that's why its decor is different from the others." Fei Yuliang could still maintain his calmness. "The man said that we must experience the 4 scenarios, and this should be one of them. This is the selling point of the haunted house. We have to record it and then solve it so that we can post it online." While he was talking, the door slowly opened on its own, like being moved by an invisible hand. There must be some kind of control mechanism. It's common equipment used in the shooting of scary movies. Fei Yuliang slapped Zhu Jianing on his arm. Come on, let's go catch some ghosts. You're right, but... Zhu Jianing said with a head full of cold sweat. I've taken a look around, and there are only school uniforms inside the room. There's no space for anyone to hide. There's probably some hidden compartment. Be careful. This means that the actor might come out to scare you from unexpected corners. Fei Yuliang and Zhu Jianing dawdled outside the classroom for a long time before finally entering it.